At number 10, Jeffree Star. The year simply cannot unfold without some kind of controversy from Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, or Trisha Paytas. Lucky for us, they've begun the first feud early on, so we have something to talk about, and surprisingly, it doesn't include Trisha Paytas offending people. I know, surprising. Trish is actually the one who's done the exposing of none other than Jeffree Star. Recently, Trisha exposed Jeffree and his former hairstylist, Hair by Jay, for bullying her while they were on a trip to Las Vegas last year. Trisha said that while on that trip, she was fat-shamed and made fun of for her hair and skin as well. She exposed Jeffree for being a bad friend, but that's not the only person who has something negative to say about Jeffree's treatment of his friends. Jeffree's former friend, DJ Oscar Wilde, also spoke out recently, saying that Jeffree was making plans to cut ties with Shane Dawson during a time when Shane needed a friend most, and Wilde also went on to expose Jeffree for making mean comments about Nikita Dragun and her candle. Seems like Jeffree is off to a bad start, but it's fine since he's got enough money to buy himself some new friends anyway. At number 9, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj has been exposed for stealing music, and now she's being sued for over $200 million. This all comes after fellow rapper Brinks Billions alleged that Nicki stole his song Rich Sex and pawned it off as her own. The lawsuit states that Brinks had been friends with Nicki since 2007, and so in confidence, he let Nicki listen to his take on the song. Later on, however, the rapper went on to say that Nicki's version of the song was, quote, 95 to 99% of his original song. The suit states that just because he let Nicki listen to his music, that didn't mean that she could steal it, and even so, he wasn't credited for the song she released. But this seems to be a trend with Nicki, and Brinks also states that he is suing the rapper for royalties that he's owed for producing, writing, and composing the song I Endorse These Strippers, since he was never paid in full. Seems like Nicki is in some hot water very early on in the year. Before I continue, I just want to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, because your support really means a lot to us, so show us those thumbs up. At number 8, Cole Kerrigan. YouTube beauty guru Cole Kerrigan was involved in quite the scandal this year after he was dragged into the drama surrounding Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's failing marriage. There was a rumor going around that alleged that Kanye had cheated on Kim with a beauty guru, but after some people started thinking that the rapper was sleeping with Jeffree Star, Cole's name came into the mix and he pretty much just ran with it. Soon Cole was making TikTok sort of going along with the theory that he was the one who was seeing Kanye. The one TikTok that caused his ruse to blow up in his face was one where he claimed that he had been in contact with one of Kanye's bodyguards and alleged that he was sort of the one to talk to get in touch with Kanye. Well, none of that was true, and one of Kanye's bodyguards actually exposed Cole for lying about it when they sent Cole a cease and desist letter saying, quote, as you know, these images are not authentic and statements you made are completely and entirely false. In fact, our client hereby denies ever meeting you, speaking with you, and more broadly, even knowing your identity prior to January 7th, 2021. As such, our client denies in the strongest terms all of these false and defamatory statements involving his name and likeness, end quote. The original rumor was ended, and so was this one, and now those involved in the drama are now involved with lawyers. At number 7, Azealia Banks. Everyone has what they're into, but definitely no one was expecting something as disturbing as Azealia Banks' pastimes. In the past, the rapper has been exposed for practicing witchcraft and performing certain rituals, but things escalated recently. Azealia posted a video to her Instagram. It was believed that she was doing some kind of ritual after she also posted a now deleted photo which showed things like feathers, money, and other objects. Some people knew about her practices and many others do now, so when this bizarre headline made news, it was a huge deal. Azealia sort of exposed herself for these practices and seemingly lost some supporters because of it. At number 6, Jojo Siwa. Jojo Siwa is known online for being super family friendly and unproblematic. Her demographic contains mostly young kids, so she strives to present herself as PG as possible. As some of you may know, Jojo sells a lot of merchandise. From ice cream to bows, she's got it all, so it wouldn't come as a surprise to find out that she's got a board game. Well, at least she did have a board game. She was forced to stop manufacturing and selling her JoJo's Juice game after her company was exposed for the game's content. Apparently, this game that included task cards like Truth or Dare contained some inappropriate tasks. Since this game is intended for players 6 years old and up, a lot of parents weren't pleased with the content of this game and demanded accountability. Even though JoJo released a statement saying that not all things are run by her and that she didn't know about these cards, she was still exposed for her brand being seen as inappropriate, even if she herself is not. At number 5, Nikita Dragun. Even though we are still caught in the midst of a global pandemic, it is still advised for people to wear a mask and social distance, and some people are still breaking the rules. This is the case with beauty YouTuber Nikita Dragun because she was caught and exposed for going maskless in an elevator while she was in Miami for a New Year's Eve party. The influencer was exposed on TikTok where fans posted a video of their encounter with her. The fans asked for a photo with her before she was caught, saying that people would get mad at her for not wearing a mask. Well, they did, and she was dragged for it. Lately, so many celebrities have been getting dragged for not being a good role model for their fans during this time, and Nikita was definitely one of them. So not only did she get exposed for attending a party during a pandemic, but also for not wearing a mask. Bad decisions. This all went down in Florida, and though there are no rules in place, it's still advised to wear a mask for your own safety and the protection of others. At number 4, Onision. After an in-depth 3-part docuseries was released on Discovery+, YouTuber Onision has been exposed to the world for his inappropriateness online and with women in his life. In 2019, Chris Hansen launched an investigation into Onision's past, as well as a number of allegations of various things against him and his partner Kai. Though some were aware of his antics that have been going on for years online, this series brought more attention to the matter, and he's certainly been exposed. As a result of the docuseries, YouTube removed Onision from the YouTube Partner Program, and so he's no longer eligible for monetization on any of his accounts. And since YouTube is one of his primary sources of income, this is bound to greatly affect him. Finally, the voices of his victims are being heard, and though he's just being exposed now, I'm sure this won't be the last we hear of him. At number 3, Charli D'Amelio. Much like Nikita Dragun, who I mentioned earlier, Charli D'Amelio, as well as her sister and a group of other TikTok stars, were exposed for going against COVID protocols. Charli was exposed for traveling outside of the US as she and others were caught on vacation in the Bahamas around the holidays. The D'Amelio sisters were caught on vacation at a resort in the Bahamas with Chase Hudson, Noah Beck, Avani Gregg, and others. When fans were outraged at the TikToker's trip outside of the US, Charli and Dixie's dad came forward to issue a statement saying that it was a family trip and that Charli had nothing to do with it, but the issue still stands that the family, as well as the other influencers, took an unnecessary trip. Like I said before, a lot of fans are holding their idols accountable for their actions during this time, so maybe these influencers getting exposed was enough to get them to all take the pandemic a little bit more seriously. At number 2, Amber Heard. Amber Heard is another celebrity that got exposed this year, but not for what you might think. Last year we saw Amber in the news getting exposed for her relationship with Johnny Depp, but this year we're seeing her getting exposed for lying. As some of you may recall, when Johnny and Amber first divorced, they reached a settlement of about $7 million to be paid to Amber, and when she received that money, she claimed that she would split the money and donate it to 2 charities, the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles and the American Civil Liberties Union. Now Johnny Depp has called her out for lying about donating the money and claims that she really just pocketed most of the money. Though Johnny's lawyers tried speaking to the ACLU about Amber's donation, they never got a comment, but the Children's Hospital said that the donation that they received from Amber was a total of $100,000, much less than the $3.5 million that she promised them. Amber has now been exposed for lying, and fans have begun to turn on the actress, as if they haven't done that already. And finally, at number 1, Armie Hammer. Recently, Armie Hammer has made headlines after some alleged DMs came out about him, which showed that Armie was into some interesting things. Literally, what even is 2021? An Instagram account named House of Effie exposed these alleged DMs from Armie to a mystery recipient that detailed his fantasies of certain things that really aren't appropriate for YouTube, but I think you might know what I'm talking about. These screenshots were apparently from women from 2016 to 2020. Since these messages were so graphic and unconventional, this scandal ultimately led to Armie stepping down from his role in an upcoming film with Jennifer Lopez. Armie has referred to these screenshots as BS claims and vicious attacks, but people are now left wondering who these recipients are, and I'm sure it won't be too long until those individuals are also exposed. At number 10, Olivia Jade. The 2019 college admissions bribery scandal was one of the biggest controversies of that year. We watched as many wealthy parents were busted for making bribes in order to get their kids into good schools, and there were a few celebrities involved, most notably Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. Just recently, a documentary was released on Netflix that shed more light onto how things went down during the scandal, especially for Lori Loughlin and her daughter Olivia Jade. The documentary Operation Varsity Blues, the college admission scandal exposed many people's involvement, including Olivia Jade and her family, and it showed how they got her into the school and how they got busted. According to this documentary, Lori and her husband Massimo submitted photos of Olivia on a rowing machine to Rick Singer, the man behind the admissions operation, which he then used to convince the USC rowing team to add her to the team, solidifying her admission to the school. Apparently, things started to unravel for Olivia and her parents because she kept sharing how she got into USC on her YouTube channel, which raised a few red flags. Their charade eventually ended after Olivia's high school guidance counselor got in contact with USC's admissions, telling them that Olivia has never been involved in rowing. Though this scandal has blown over for the most part, this documentary exposed them once again. At number 9, the Kardashians. Over the past year, with COVID affecting our lives, celebrities have been heavily scrutinized by the public for their COVID precautions. The Kardashians are one group of public figures that have faced their fair share of backlash when it comes to COVID because many fans have called them out for being unsafe. Now they're being exposed for their COVID testing and protocols when inviting visitors to their house, and it's casting a new light on the family. American media host Andy Cohen spoke out about the Kardashian wild system to prevent COVID spreading in their households after doing an interview with them, and it sure is wild. Andy said that before the interview, he was put in a car and driven to the Kardashians' quote, preferred testing facility. After getting tested, Andy said that he asked the medical staff if they were going to give him his results, to which the staff member said no. Andy was then driven to Khloe Kardashian's house, where he was then told to wait in the car, and if the second gate opened, that means that he tested negative. Imagine that, waiting in suspense for a whole car ride just to see if you don't have COVID, only to have a gate reveal your results. This kind of has the same energy as a gender reveal party, and I cannot explain it. It's bizarre, but at least they're being safe, right? Now, before I go any further, I'd like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also head on over to my gaming channel, Viper Girl. I just started a new Pixelmon series, so if that piques your interest, go on over and subscribe while you're there. At number 8, Chris Pratt. During a recent episode of Anna Faris's podcast, she sat down with actress Gwyneth Paltrow, and they had a conversation about marriage. Anna asked Gwyneth if her, quote, taste in partners has changed throughout the decades of her life, to which she replied that her new partner is different in the sense that he helps her be more honest with herself. Anna replied saying that she never had that sense of honesty in her previous marriage to Chris Pratt. She then went on to essentially expose him for the way things were in their marriage and how this lack of emotional honesty caused, quote, competitiveness and comparison in the relationship. Chris and Anna had been together for 9 years before divorcing in 2017, and though there isn't much information as to why they broke up, there is speculation, and Anna's comments about emotions and honesty between partners may add to fans' interpretations of their marriage. At number 7, Armie Hammer. Now, I know that I included Armie in part 1 of this list, but there have recently been developments to this scandal that should be addressed, so I'm talking about him again. Just a quick recap of this scandal. Armie was exposed in January of this year for his unorthodox bedroom fantasies such as eating people and consensual non-consent. As a result of this, Armie has lost work, having been dropped from 2 upcoming projects, and he's also been dropped by his talent agency and publicist. Now Armie is being investigated by the LAPD for an alleged assault that could potentially see him serving jail time if found guilty. This has all come about because a woman who claimed to have been romantically involved with Armie alleged that he forced himself upon her without her consent. This woman, known as Effie, gave a statement saying that she was harmed by him on a mental, physical, and emotional level during her on and off relationship with the actor, and that she was subjected to unwanted relations with him for over 4 hours where he committed multiple acts of violence against her. He's once again been exposed for his actions, this time on a more severe level, as he now faces potential legal repercussions. At number 6, Kylie Jenner. One celebrity who seems to always be in some kind of controversy every month is Kylie Jenner. Her actions are always being criticized, and we saw this recently as fans exposed her for her tone-deaf post about a friend's GoFundMe. Recently, Kylie took to her Instagram story to post about a makeup artist friend of hers who got into a serious accident. As a result of this accident, he's now in hospital recovering from surgery, and his family set up a GoFundMe page to help pay for his medical bills. Kylie ended up donating $5,000 to the fundraiser and asked her followers to consider donating as well. Though in theory this was a nice gesture to donate and promote this cause, a lot of people weren't all too impressed with their actions, as some people raised the fact that Kylie is more than wealthy enough to just pay off her friends' medical bills without help from her fans. With an estimated net worth of $900 million, fans just thought it was a little off. Apparently, when Kylie found out about this GoFundMe, $6,000 of the $10,000 goal had already been met, and so she donated $5,000 to push it over its goal. Kylie said that she just wanted to be helpful, but others say that she could have done more. What do you guys think about this though? Is Kylie in the wrong, or is this just being exaggerated? At number 5, Cara Delevigne. In this day and age, people demand accountability from the public figures they follow. There have been countless times when fans have dug up something from a celebrity's past to demand accountability for their actions, but it's not every day that celebs expose their own actions to take accountability for. Recently, Cara Delevigne did just that as she exposed herself for having been homophobic in the past. While on the Goop podcast, Cara opened up about how she was brought up in a quote, old-fashioned household, and how this caused her to think badly of the LGBTQ+ community. In the interview, she said, quote, "I didn't know anyone who was gay. I didn't acknowledge the fact that I was homophobic. The idea of being same-sex partners, I was disgusted by that in myself. I was like, oh my god, I would never, that's disgusting. Ugh." End quote. Cara says that she still struggles with this internal battle because she is pansexual, but thinks, quote, "I wish I could just be straight." The fact that she was able to recognize this in her and talk about it shows a lot of strength, even though she continues to struggle with this, and the fact that she exposed this past side of her also shows how much she's grown. At number 4, the Pope. I know the Pope isn't who you would normally think of when you think of a celebrity, but he is a public figure, and he, as well as the Vatican, were exposed a couple of weeks ago. On March 15th, it was announced that the Vatican would not, quote, "bless the civil unions of same-sex couples." The Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith published a note approved by the Pope that said that though they would uphold their welcoming and blessing of the LGBTQ+ community, they would not bless their unions, saying that, quote, "such unions are not part of God's plan." Obviously, the response to this declaration was very negative, and a lot of people took to social media to voice their opinions on the matter. One of these people being Elton John. As a member of the gay community, he was obviously taken aback by the Vatican statement, but he also took this as an opportunity to expose them for their hypocrisy. The singer tweeted about the Vatican's support for the movie Rocketman, a film based on Elton's life. In his tweet, it linked to an article detailing how the Vatican contributed millions of dollars to the making of Rocketman, and so this resulted in the Vatican getting exposed, with Elton calling them out for funding a film that, quote, "celebrates my happiness from my marriage to David." Elton is here calling people out on their BS and isn't afraid to do the same to the Catholic Church. At number 3, Sharon Osbourne. Recently, Sharon Osbourne was facing backlash because of her comments of support for Piers Morgan and his views on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's bombshell interview. She got into a heated confrontation with one of her talk show co-hosts, resulting in CBS conducting an internal review. Now more heat is being thrown towards Sharon as Leah Remini exposed her for having used offensive slurs in reference to Julie Chen and Sarah Gilbert on The Talk. This new information has prompted the studio to put the show on an extended hiatus to investigate these allegations. Leah claimed that Sharon used slurs commenting on Julie's eye shape and ethnicity because she is Asian American, and that she also used homophobic slurs in reference to Sarah because she's part of the LGBTQ+ community. Though these claims have been denied by Sharon, this isn't the first time she's come under fire for offensive comments like this, as back in 2011, Sharon also said that one of her former hosts of The View was, quote, "too ghetto for the show." CBS has released a statement saying that they're looking into these claims, so we'll have to wait and see what happens next. At number 2, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. It's been a few weeks since Meghan and Harry's Oprah interview rocked the tabloids, but things haven't died down quite yet, as people are still discussing the interview's topics and people are still picking it apart. There have been people coming forward to discredit some of the things that Meghan and Harry said in their interview, and now they're being exposed for lying about a specific topic. In their interview, they told Oprah that they had actually gotten married in secret 3 days before their televised wedding ceremony. Now we're finding out that this isn't exactly true. A spokesperson for the couple clarified that Meghan and Harry had exchanged personal vows a few days before their official wedding. This clarification comes after multiple sources had come forward claiming that the couple never had a secret wedding. The Sun publication actually obtained the couple's marriage license, confirming that their official wedding date was in fact May 19th, 2018, the day that the world tuned into their ceremony. A UK vicar also explained that the Church of England requires 2 witnesses at a couple's union and that it must take place within a certified place of worship to be considered valid, and none of those requirements were met during Meghan and Harry's secret vow exchange, meaning that it was not an official ceremony. And finally, number 1, Dr. Phil. Rapper Bad Baby, aka Danielle Bregoli, and known to most Dr. Phil fans as the Cash Me Outside girl, recently came forward about alleged abuse that she sustained at a reform camp that she was sent to after being on the show. Danielle posted a video to her YouTube channel opening up about what she experienced, detailing how staff at the camp called Turnabout Ranch treated her and the other kids, saying that she was taken from her home in the middle of the night, handcuffed, and wasn't allowed to sleep or shower for 3 days. She also said that staff used restraints on people and that some people have even claimed to be assaulted while there. Danielle exposed Dr. Phil for recommending such a place and is demanding he apologize to her and anyone else he sent there. Turnabout Ranch is described as a, quote, boot camp for troubled teens, and Dr. Phil has recommended parents send their children to this facility to help with their troubled behavior. Now that people are coming forward about their experiences with the ranch, Dr. Phil is facing a lot of scrutiny and backlash, and is being urged to take accountability. At number 10, Jason Nash. YouTuber and former Vine star Jason Nash has been on the receiving end of a lot of backlash as he, David Dobrik, and the Vlog Squad have been caught in a scandal. A number of people have recently come forward to talk about their negative experiences with the YouTube friend group, with some citing that they have been involved in various assaults and bullied. Former Vlog Squad member Seth Francois recently exposed David and Jason for having with him during a prank, but recently Jason's ex-girlfriend Trisha Paytas has exposed Jason once again, and she has the texts to back it all up. Trisha has been very outspoken about Jason and the Vlog Squad ever since her very public and drama-filled breakup with him, and has made countless videos and Instagram posts calling them out for mistreating her, and really dug into Jason's part in their relationship and how everything was so toxic while they were together. She's held a grudge against Jason for years, and now that the time has come to expose him, she's coming out in full force. Trish is now coming out with more information to hurt his image, including some of her missed texts and calls from Jason, pointing out that he's been trying to get in touch with her while he's facing backlash from the Vlog Squad scandal, even though they haven't been together since 2019. Trish also exposed the screenshots that she received from Jason's alleged girlfriend, showing his intention to contact Trisha, saying that he was going to, quote, call his ex so this all stops. Some people believe that Jason's attempt to contact Trisha is a means of trying to bury the story and clear his name, and since Trisha knows the most about him, has the most dirt on him and his friends, she clearly isn't afraid to expose him. So far, David Dobrik has lost everything, and some think that Jason could be next, with Trisha being the one to push him over the edge. At number 9, Justin Timberlake. Recently, there has been a call on Justin Timberlake to take accountability for his actions after he faced a lot of backlash from Britney Spears fans following the release of the bombshell documentary Framing Britney Spears. Fans had flooded his social media pages demanding that he apologize after the documentary exposed him for how Britney was treated in the public eye after their breakup in the early 2000s. The documentary looks into the way that the pop star was portrayed in the media, from the paparazzi to interviews, and it takes an in-depth look into how this stardom affected her. A big part of the documentary explores Justin Timberlake's role in the media's mistreatment of Britney after their public breakup in 2002, showing that after their relationship ended, Justin made Britney look like the villain in the relationship, accusing her of cheating and essentially weaponizing their breakup to boost his career. This prompted the media to point fingers at Britney and put a lot of pressure and blame on the singer, who really didn't deserve all of that negative attention. Fans in the media are now revisiting this time in Britney and Justin's lives, and because of this, Justin was exposed and canceled for his actions. Now, before I carry on with the list, I'd like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, because it really helps us out a lot. At number 8, Demi Lovato. In recent weeks, singer and former Disney star Demi Lovato has been opening up about her life and her struggles through her documentary Dancing with the Devil, which explores her near-fatal overdose, whose lasting effects she still struggles with every day, including partial blindness and brain damage. The documentary not only exposed her struggles with her overdose, but it also exposed her short-lived engagement to Max Eric. Demi opened up about her short engagement, where she exposed it for what it really was to her, saying that it was her way of, quote, proving to the world that she was okay. Demi said that she had herself fooled entering into this engagement, saying, quote, it was a safe and expected thing, end quote. Demi also exposed her relationship for being something that she didn't really need in order to feel okay and empowered, going on to say that being single has helped her feel even more empowered, not having, quote, false sense of security. Demi said that though her relationship was very real, her need for marriage was not, and that she is glad that she walked away when she did. She made the best decision for herself, and that's something that a lot of people should do as well, Speaking out about a topic like this is so powerful and important for a lot of people. At number 7, David Dobrik. YouTuber and former Viner David Dobrik has been caught in a massive scandal on the platform that has pretty much destroyed his career. He was once considered by many as one of YouTube's clean YouTubers because he was someone that didn't have much drama on the platform, but recently that has all changed. He was really popular on the platform, having gained over 9 million subscribers, and he's had some success in showbiz as well as he's been cast as a judge and host on a few game shows as well. However, in recent weeks, David's popularity has fallen and his praise has turned into scrutiny as people have started coming forward with allegations of assault and bullying against David as well as his friends. Former members of the Vlog Squad have come forward calling David out for bullying and creating a toxic environment, as well as orchestrating pranks that resulted in one friend getting assaulted, and recently a former fan came forward naming a Vlog Squad member as the person who assaulted them while they were under the influence, and also exposed David for filming part of their alleged assault. He has since lost all of his sponsors as well as the company that he recently started. Because of the people who've exposed him, David's career is pretty much over and some wonder if he will ever bounce back from this. At number 6, Lil Nas X. Rapper Lil Nas X has been in the news a lot lately because of backlash he's been facing from his music video for his song Montero, as well as his quote, devil shoes. A lot of people have been criticizing him for his use of quote, satanic imagery, saying that his content is inappropriate. Well, on the other side of this drama, Lil Nas X was exposed for his content, but not because of its imagery being offensive to people, but for it having been copied from another artist. A Twitter user shared a side-by-side comparison of Nas's Montero music video to FKA Twigs' video for her song Cellophane. Both had similar imagery of heaven and hell, as well as the artist sliding down and dancing on a pole, and so he was faced with backlash for having copied Twigs. Lil Nas X addressed the controversy on his social media, issuing an apology to those affected, saying that he wasn't aware of the similarities and that he had nothing but love and respect for FKA Twigs. The two artists made up and acknowledged everyone involved in the making of both Montero and Cellophane's videos, but Nas's exposure was just another setback that he had to deal with involving his new content. At number 5, Butch Hartman. The artist known for creating popular Nickelodeon shows like Fairly Odd Parents, Tough Puppy, and Danny Phantom was exposed recently after Twitter users accused him of plagiarism. Butch Hartman, known for his unique cartoon drawings, has been doing commissioned drawings for fans for a little while, and when completed, he sometimes posts them on social media to show off what he's been creating. This was his way of promoting his commissioned services, but recently one of his commissioned posts was used to expose the artist for plagiarism. One fan noticed that one of his recent posts, a drawing that he did of a character from the anime Attack on Titan, looked a little too familiar until they realized that Butch had plagiarized this drawing. Butch profited off this stolen artwork of another artist and sold this piece for a pretty hefty price. The commissioned pieces that Butch does sell for upwards of $200, and so finding out that someone is profiting so much from stolen work is a huge no-no. This scandal exposed even more dirt on Butch, as it was revealed that this wasn't the first time Butch has been caught copying other work for commissions. Now he's been exposed, Butch's credibility as an artist has taken a pretty big hit and it's not looking good for him. At number 4, Anthony Mackie. In another instance of the past getting exposed, Marvel actor Anthony Mackie, known for his role as the Falcon in the MCU, faced some internet backlash recently after an old video had resurfaced. This video in question was a clip from an old Wendy Williams interview where he was heard making sexist remarks, saying that a woman's role was to, quote, make daddy a sandwich. During the interview, Anthony and Wendy were having a conversation about gender roles in a relationship, and Anthony's responses were exposed. Anthony also went on to defend his mentality of women serving their partners, giving an example saying, quote, you better believe it, so you make daddy a sandwich. If I'm outside cutting the grass, bring daddy some lemonade. It's hot outside and I'm cutting all this grass, end quote. A lot of fans were taken aback by the actor's comments, calling them sexist and misogynistic, and resulted in canceling the actor on social media. His cancellation didn't really stick, as he's since bounced back with the popularity coming from Disney Plus's series Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but people still exposed him and he still faced quite a bit of backlash because of it. At number 3, David Letterman. David Letterman was recently met with cancellation from the internet after some old interviews resurfaced online, which showed David getting a little inappropriate with some guests on his late night show. First, he was met with backlash for asking insensitive questions to Lindsay Lohan during her 2013 interview, where they spoke about her addiction and and struggles in rehab. And once this interview was brought into question, people went digging and found another interview that showed David being inappropriate and a little creepy. A 1998 Late Show interview with Jennifer Aniston was brought to light, which showed Letterman sucking on Jennifer's hair. The clip shows Letterman moving his chair behind the actress and putting her hair in his mouth, then later giving her a napkin to wipe her hair off. After this incident, she looks very uncomfortable, later saying that she was traumatized by this incident. This clip exposed David for his inappropriate and uncomfortable actions, with many people calling for accountability to be taken. At number 2, James Charles. James has been finding himself in a number of scandals over the past few years, seemingly facing a new drama every few months. Though in the past there's been petty drama like that between James, Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, and Tati Westbrook, but recently James's number one scandal has been his inappropriate contact with fans, specifically those under the age of 18. Recently, James has been hit with backlash after it was discovered that he had solicited private photos from a fan who turned out to be under the age of 18. James was exposed by said fan on social media, where they showed off their images and photos sent to each other over the period of time that they had been talking. This happened in late February, but a similar event happened just a few weeks ago after another young man came forward exposing James and recounting how he and James had been having sexually charged conversations on Snapchat. These allegations are similar to those he's faced in the past, so people are really starting to get angry with James and the fact that he seems to walk away from these scandals all the time. Now his affiliation with Morphe is being called into question, as the brand is also facing backlash for staying quiet on the situation. Could this be the exposure that ends James' career? Let me know down in the comments. And finally, at number 1, Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell is known to most as the record executive responsible for signing One Direction and Little Mix and many other successful artists. He's also known for being a judge on The X Factor, American Idol, and America's Got Talent. Now Simon is being exposed for his music label being toxic and abusive. John and Edward Grimes, known in the music world as Jedward, went on a tweeting spree recently as they spilled the beans on Simon Cowell and his record label Psycho, saying that they've been taking advantage of their artists for years. This isn't a new thing, however, as the label has been blasted by other artists like Cher Lloyd and Rebecca Ferguson, as they've spoken out about the conditions they've had to work under while under contract. In their tweets, Jedward called One Direction survivors because of what they've had to endure. Their rant all started when they were given One Direction's contract by accident, and after reading it, they decided to expose Simon and his label. They're blowing the doors off the music industry's treatment of their talent, and this could be a game changer. At number 10, Kanye West. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have been in the news a lot this year following their divorce announcement. The couple announced early this year that they were divorcing, ending their 6-year marriage, but naturally things escalated in the news and rumors started circulating. For a little while at the beginning of this year, the internet was abuzz with rumors that Kanye had cheated on his wife with YouTuber and makeup mogul Jeffree Star. Though those allegations were denied, and some people even got in trouble for trying to expose Kanye, some others have popped up a little while later trying to claim that Kanye was actively looking to cheat on Kim. Reality TV star Claudia Jordan exposed the rapper and alleged that Kanye, quote, tried to hook up with her while still with Kim. During an appearance on the Dominic Natti show, Claudia said, quote, he tried years ago. Me and Nicki Chu were in the club, they shut the door, I met him, and you know what? I hung out with Kim as well. And because of girl code, I couldn't do it. Let's say that, end quote. It seems as though people are trying really hard to expose Kanye for some kind of infidelity. Clearly something has been going on because of how many people are coming forward claiming that Kanye cheated on his wife. There's no way to know for sure if any of these claims are true, but I'm sure that in a couple weeks someone else would try to expose the rapper once again for something similar. At number 9, Joe Exotic. After the success of the Tiger King documentary on Netflix last year, Joe Exotic became something of a celebrity for a hot second. He really became more of a meme, but for a while there, news sources were reporting on his life developments as though he were any other public figure. In fact, they're still reporting on his life from time to time, especially after his ex-husband exposed him. Joe's ex-husband, Joe Finley, recently came forward to talk about his relationship with the now imprisoned Big Cat owner and exposed his marriage to him, revealing that it was all fake. John said that his whole marriage was just for Joe's popularity, remarking that the wedding that was shown in the documentary, which showed him, Joe, and Travis Maldonado, was all, quote, basically just a publicity stunt so Joe could get his own reality TV series. John has also said that he's since moved on with a woman and is trying to forget his past with Joe, which is a bit difficult for him since he's still carrying around tattoos of Joe's name, which he says will be covered up in the future. Now, before I carry on with this list, I'd like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also check out my gaming channel Viper Girl if if you're looking to enjoy some fun gameplay content as well. Go subscribe and I'll see you there. At number 8, David Dobrik. A few weeks ago, YouTuber David Dobrik had been facing backlash after having been exposed for his content as well as the treatment of his friends. David's former friend Seth Francois came forward talking about how David played a part in his assault, and David's other friend Big Nick spoke out about the bullying he endured while he still hung out with him and the rest of the vlog squad. David also faced backlash for having included footage of an incident that led to the assault of one of his former fans. Now another person has come forward to expose David for his actions, and that person is fellow YouTuber and influencer Tana Mojo. This all happened after YouTuber Trisha Paytas made a TikTok about how David and her ex-boyfriend Jason once tried to convince Trisha to engage in a group sexual activity with a then 19-year-old Tana. In response to this TikTok, Tana commented on the video saying, quote, "Tag yourself. I'm the 19-year-old who's now in therapy and trying to stay out of the drama." In the past, Tana has commented on how uncomfortable the situation with David and Jason made her, and that Jason being interested in much younger women has made her feel uneasy, but now this exposure from Tana and Trisha has just brought up this old drama once again, just as we thought this YouTube drama was starting to subside. At number 7, Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson. Recently, Tristan Thompson has found himself in yet another cheating scandal as he's once again been accused of being unfaithful to Khloe Kardashian. Tristan is accused of cheating on Khloe with Instagram model Sydney Chase. Now you would think that Tristan would be the only one being exposed since he's been caught cheating, but Khloe has also been exposed for getting involved in the drama. Sydney posted screenshots to her Instagram story which showed Khloe confronting the model about the situation, saying, quote, "Hey Sydney, this is Khloe. I would appreciate it if our conversation can remain confidential," and then some other redacted information. Sydney has come forward saying that Tristan cheated on Khloe when he and the model met up the day after his daughter True's birthday. In response to this, Tristan has called Sydney a liar, claiming that the things that she's been saying about him are, quote, "malicious, defamatory fabrications." Now a lawsuit is brewing, and I'm sure this is only just the beginning of this drama. At number 6, Coldplay. Recently, the music group Coldplay has been exposed and caught under fire after Lady Gaga fans alleged that the band stole their new album concept from their mother Monster. This comes after Coldplay announced their new era of music and the release of their new song Higher Power. Their new theme is very neon, featuring the colors blue, pink, and purple, and they're seemingly calling it Chaotica. This sounds cool, but not very creative, as Lady Gaga fans were quick to point out the similarities between Chaotica and Lady Gaga's 2020 album Chromatica. This album featured a very similar neon color palette and a pretty similar name. Fans have said that these artists' albums' aesthetics are too similar to be a coincidence. Both Chaotica and Chromatica are essentially the artists' respective made-up planets that their albums are based on, and so these similarities have fans feeling a little strange. What do you guys think? Is it a ripoff or just a coincidence? At number 5, Bill Gates. Bill and Melinda Gates have been making headlines lately after announcing their divorce, ending their marriage of 27 years. Though their divorce is big news, the bigger headlines that people are focusing on now is the fact that Bill has been exposed for his dealings with Jeffree Epstein. Information has come out suggesting that Melinda had been making plans to divorce her husband since back in 2019 because of her husband's ties with Epstein. Melinda has apparently been unhappy with her husband's relationship with Epstein for years and reportedly made the decision to begin the divorcing process in 2019 after a report by the New York Times had linked Bill and Jeffree. Melinda had previously warned Bill about the billionaire when they first met back in 2013. However, despite her forewarnings, Bill allegedly continued to meet with Epstein, later leading him to getting exposed for their relationship when Epstein was arrested in 2019. Melinda seemingly wanted out of her marriage as soon as she realized that Bill was in too deep with Epstein, and as a result, Bill has not only been re-exposed for their shady relationship, but also for going against his wife's warnings about getting too close to him. At number 4, Mr. Beast. YouTube philanthropist Jimmy Donaldson, aka Mr. Beast, was exposed recently after former employees came forward with allegations of creating a toxic work environment and belittling staff. 11 of Mr. Beast's former employees spoke out against the YouTuber, describing a difficult work environment and saying that his, quote, "demeanor changed when the cameras weren't around," end quote. A former editor claimed that the YouTuber made unreasonable demands fans, and that he received threats and hateful comments from MrBeast's fans as well. Another former editor claimed that he had been bullied by Jimmy, saying that he used slurs meant to disparage people with mental disabilities. He had actually come forward about this before a few years ago, where he claimed that he was, quote, yelled at, bullied, and called replaceable by MrBeast every single day. MrBeast has been considered by many to be a wholesome and good person, as he's been known to give back to people using his platform for philanthropy, but now that these people have painted a very different picture of the content creator, things could be changing for him. At number 3, Childish Gambino. It looks like actor and singer Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, might be facing a lawsuit after he was recently called out and accused of ripping off one of his songs from another artist. Rapper Kid West is reportedly suing the artist, claiming that Gambino stole his hit song, This Is America, from him, ripping off his song, Made in America. According to West, he released his song, Made in America, on SoundCloud in September 2016, and later released it on YouTube for the public to listen to for free. He also says that he registered the song with the US Copyright Office in 2017. Gambino's song, This Is America, came out the following year and went on to win a Grammy for Record of the Year. Kid West claims, quote, the chorus or hook of This Is America is unmistakably similar, if not practically identical to his Made in America, and that Gambino's flow is also very similar. There's no word yet on Childish Gambino's take on this, but don't worry, I'll keep you updated. At number 2, James Charles. YouTuber James Charles has certainly been having a bad year so far. He's already been exposed a few times this year for having inappropriate relationships with some of his younger fans, but on top of that, he's now being exposed by a former employee. A couple of weeks ago, James was in the news after a former employee issued a lawsuit against him, citing wrongful termination. His former creative director, Kelly Rockline, accused the beauty guru of several instances of terrible treatment, and according to some other sources, other issues that Kelly addressed in her lawsuit include, quote, failure to pay all wages, disability discrimination, and failure to provide reasonable accommodation. Kelly also claims that she was being overworked, having worked over 80 hours a week without overtime pay while on minimum wage. Kelly has also alleged that James has used the N-word in front of her on several occasions as well. This suit has apparently been going on since 2019 after James's legal team refused to settle in early conversations, and the suit went over to the LA County Superior Court. Now it is a back and forth battle that has gone public, and it's not looking good for James's image. And finally, number 1, Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen was recently exposed after past tweets and DMs came back to haunt her. These alleged posts seem to show Chrissy publicly bullying a then 16-year-old Courtney Stodden. Courtney rose to fame after they married Doug Hutchison when they were still a teenager. This marriage sparked international attention and seemingly saw Chrissy turn dark as she allegedly sent a number of hateful messages to Courtney. Recalling the many incredibly hurtful and offensive messages they used to receive from Teigen, Courtney said, quote, I think for me, because I experienced so much harassment and bullying from her when I was just 16 years old, just 17 years old, just 18 years old at a time when I needed help. Like I was being abused. End quote. Chrissy has since apologized to Courtney for her actions after being exposed, but if you've read some of the messages she sent, you would understand why Courtney has carried this pain with them for all this time.